How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Lift Yourselves Here channel. This is a continuation of making buildings with NewBuild. This episode is going to be about more advanced objects. I just have a simple building I've made here with some glass. And this lifts in a giant atrium. We are now about to populate with all the various advanced objects that NewBuild makes it easy to create. So in terms of an agenda for this video, these are all the commands we're going to be teaching. We've got staircases, straight staircases, escalators and escalator ranges, which can also be travelators if you desire. Got skylights, glass roofs, recessed ceilings, platform lifts, openings without any doors in them, trees, floor signs, shop fronts, some basic furniture, and then that is it. We will begin with the staircase function. This needs to go outside the floor section, preferably after the elevators, and _, stairs. Take some arguments. For reference in this video, I'll be using coordinates I know off by heart, but to place the objects yourself, you would use the same method of finding coordinates we've been illustrating throughout this series so far. Go up to the position you want, click it. The control panel is off the screen right now, but you'd see that click position metric. You might have to do some rounding to get to line up with the window panels, and those are the coordinates you need for the staircase. I'll place mine away from the atrium because we're going to start with the one that generates the well beforehand. Let me state direction. For most of these objects, that's going to be the front, back, left or right. I'll make mine face right. Lowest floor and highest floor, just like an elevator. Our type, you can say 1 to make a well, or 2 to make a freestanding stairwell that has glass banisters. Then also cuts the floor. We'll start with the one that generates the well. Then just display left, right and back, where that's relative to the direction the staircase faces. Just to illustrate it. All truths. So we now have a stairwell in the building. So this uses the currently selected floor texture for the steps, trim for the stringers, the walls of the wall texture, and then uses the window texture for the banister. It can go up. Fully realistic guardrail and string arrangement. That is the staircase with the well. It'll only create the 3 sides. If you want to have a door in front of it, you'll need to use your own wall and door commands, which were taught in the last video. I might as well do that for demonstration. So you can start a floor section after it. Go for NB wall. And you'll need to learn the coordinates by clicking. 170. The staircase, by the way, is 10 feet wide in case you need to factor it into a floor plan or overall design of the building. The front wall, and then we'll have the door. We now have a boxed off stairwell. My code was a bit scuffed. The correct answer was 169 and stuff, but this is the concept. Maybe don't have the door open in because a bit lack of space. But now let's show the freestanding stairwell and also the straight staircase. Get rid of this monstrosity for the time being. All I have to do is set this number to be a 2 to make the freestanding staircase. So it looks a bit awful for now because it's intended to be an atrium. You see you have the half landing. You can see inside the building. Let me move it now to the atrium. I could pick a position along the perimeter like here. Now that it's on an atrium, there is no more strange graphical errors, and you can ascend to the top just as normal. If you're going right up against the side here and inside corner, you'll need to add or subtract a tiny amount just to make sure it doesn't eat the pre-existing wall, because it does still cut itself, but you can pretty much place this wherever you want and you will have a nice realistic staircase. So now let's choose a position for the straight staircase, which I'll put about here. And the coordinates, by the way, is relative of the staircases. And it's like the place where you get on the staircase from on the U-shaped staircase. And for the straight staircase, it's the top of the slope at the center. And just making sure if it's on an atrium, the place you click is always the place you need it. The straight stairs, the command is actually slightly simpler. Have your X and Z central positions as previously discussed. Same direction. I think I actually need to say right here because it'll be ascending in different ways, in the same 0 to 1. It's created kind of the same as the escalator, which we'll look at in a bit in terms of position in the bottom and top floors. And we now have a straight staircase. It is slightly grander feel, slightly wider staircase as well. Go up it just as usual. These can also span multiple floors. If you're doing that, however, you'll need to make sure that the atrium on which you place the staircase is precisely 20 feet long in terms of bottom of the stairs to the top of the stairs, otherwise it won't cut. Maybe eventually I'll add support for a function that generates the atrium on the same line as the staircase, so make that easier, but for now, current generation of NewBuild, that is not a functionality yet. For now I guess I'll create another atrium over here just to illustrate that point, might increase the height of the building as well. So in this configuration all I've done is just adding an extra floor, another atrium, which goes from -145 on the X to -125, it's exactly 20 feet. Move the straight stairs across. Now a skyscraper, see them on the middle level, and these stairs cut perfectly. And these ones can also be expanded to serve any number of floors. This procedure is very similar if you want to create an escalator. So the escalator, another simple command, another one that goes outside the floor section. I've chosen an X and Z for it. Once again, top of the slope. Direction right. This, by the way, is the direction you would get on the object from. Same as the stairs and the escalators. So you would get on the escalator from the right, therefore faces right. For a single escalator, which only spans one floor, which is what this command does, you state the bottom floor number. It's going to be 0 in this case. Double, question mark, is a boolean. Say true, it'll make escalators both ways, like a duplex unit, up and down. Or you can say false, just to make a single one. Like some places, for whatever reason, have just one escalator and you have to take the stairs going down. Or if you want to make a complex escalator layout where they're not just beside each other, but you still want them both ways. Start with true because it's easier. You can delete this extra parameter then if you're making double escalators. And I'm flying off the ground still, but we have escalators. Creates a pair of escalators. You can go up them. It'll cut the wall at the top, provided you click right where the atrium wall is. These won't cut on their own accord. You need to have the atrium first. Same as the straight stairs. But they will cut the balustrade in the top. I kind of flew down them there, but they're the double escalators. So let's try the single escalator. So it's a very simple change you need to make. Simply set this to false, and then you need an extra parameter that's either up or down, because there's not both ways. It needs to know which way to generate it in. And this has generated a single escalator. Only goes up. That's the way I said. And then I could add like another one over here that goes down, but not making a whole building here. It's just demonstration purposes. What you can also do is keep the exact same command syntax, but say travelator instead of escalator to get a kind of travelator. So NB travelator. Keep the exact same parameters, and when you reload, it's not a real travelator with flat pallets, but then it's also way too steep, but it's kind of a legacy travelator. Good for gets the job done, shall we say. And then to make like these, where you want multiples spanning a range of floors, there are the escalator range and travelator range commands. So I've got the X and Z pre-selected. We're going to put it on this other atrium where the straight stairs are. Right direction. Instead of the single floor, you say lowest and the highest, 0 to 2. And the same double or single, and then say the movement direction. I'll go for true for double. And that has made escalators that serve multiple floors. Same caveat applies. You need to have an atrium length of 20 feet. If you're using a travelator range, geez, they are steep. Legacy technology. Travelator range, the atrium will need to be 35 feet across. Once again, not particularly compliant. But is the standard I went with, and that is all the escalator and stairs commands taught. So now there's other ways to get between floors other than just taking the lift. There is, however, another type of lift that you can add. So I'm going to add a platform lift to my building. NB platform lift is the command. This one could be quite tricky. You just say the lowest floor, go for 0. Number of floors, either 2 or 3, because I've disabled super duper high rise platform lifts because it would just be a pain to ride. So I can serve either 2 or 3 floors, just directly up. And then got the center X and center Z. South, east, north or west for which side the panel is going to be on. Put it on the east. You can say false for a solid shaft, true for a glass shaft. Say the shaft texture regardless, because you'll have the solid front, I think, and then the auto exits for true, and then they support one exit direction in the standard configuration. I'll set the front to match the other lifts. They do support custom floors. There's a platform lift exit command that works the same as the old elevator exit command that was taught in the last video. You can look into that if you want to make your own buildings using this, but for now I'll just do a basic platform lift. Let's reload the building and see it. You have to say south instead of front. What am I doing? So there's now this platform lift shaft in the building. Doors button, realistic swing door. I can go up to, I'll go to 1 because I can't be bothered to do the whole ride. It's a platform lift, similar to the ones in my buildings at Lone and Blanchardstown and whatnot. Except the doors on this are just made with the NB door. Jump off early. Oh, my recording ended because I pressed space to jump out. Yeah, platform lift's nothing more. Not really excited about that because we've got a lot of steps and escalators going everywhere. Now it's time to teach a few more basic inline floor section objects. This here is the recessed ceiling. This will basically just add a little bit of detail in the ceiling, a little concave like raised part. We'll set the coordinates manually. Just a small demonstration area. And there's just some booleans to pick which sides you want to show, useful for it butts up against an external wall. And this will add a recessed ceiling from floors 0 to 2. So it's barely noticeable because I have bad trim texture selected. It uses a trim texture for the side, ceiling texture for the top. But there is now a recessed ceiling and spans all floors of the building, not out the roof though. This command also has an identical twin that can make a skylight. So I'm going to change my trim texture first because that looks pretty bad. So NB trim texture blue, why not? Horrible garish colours striking again. Make sure to reset it afterwards. If floor less than 2 for that. If floor equals 2, the skylight has to be created on the floor where there's a roof above it. Otherwise it won't look good. You literally just change the word into skylight and Bob's your uncle. And now we can see on the top floor, got a nice skylight. Hope it doesn't get too hot in here in the summer on that glass. Properly formatted on the top as well. I got texture override. A little bit of that going on, and then there's my horrible blue trim down here, which you can see the recessed ceiling a bit better. There's also a command that I don't actually have on the agenda, which is interesting, and it is the NB path command. And in the floor section here, this is where it goes. NB path, it's the exact same as the build in terms of syntax. Or it can be that. What this does, it takes away the floor in a certain area and replaces it with a different texture, in case you want to add, well, paths. And also grass. I have to say NB path texture, that's the texture it uses. That's the texture that's also used for the bottom of an inset. You'll recall from the last video, if I set that to grass, making sure to set it back to the original path afterwards. And this is a perfect segue onto another command, the NB tree command, which by the way is just the tree from EJ81's random object creator script. Same with the escalators, there by EJ81 too, the object plus script. A tree, you'll add a tree of a given type, pretty self-explanatory. You just have to pick central coordinates, 0, 0, x equals 0, z equals 0. And then you have to say the floor by hand, and this goes outside the floor section because it's a landscape object in the script. The landscape mesh does not support floors. So this just puts it on the altitude of floor 0. It'll look like it's on floor 0, but it's actually part of like the ground and stuff. Even though I'm going to put it inside the building. That's made the path, and there is one and only tree in the middle. So this path will cut into anything. It could be a floor, it could be the outside ground, it could be basically anywhere. You won't get any texture fighting. And we can also add, if you want to make a shopping center, for example, is shopfronts. Shopfront command can be a little hard, but it will soon make sense. There's actually two functions, there's shopfront X and there's shopfront Z. We've got shopfront X. First it's going to take 2x positions, it's basically like making a wall then. Go for minus 200 and minus 150. You then say the common Z. And there's no support for angled shopfronts yet, but they can be made in your own hand code. Direction, you can say true if the logo is going to be towards the positive side, or false for the negative. Texture, that's the texture for the sides and the front. Logo, and this is interesting, NewBuild actually preloads all of the shop logo textures from Athlone, Blanchardstown, Liverpool and Point Square. So I could literally just type Zara logo and I'll have to load anything and automatically have the logo for that. You just say how wide the entrance is going to be and how wide the logo is going to be. This has added the Zara shop front, basically exactly the same as it is in one of my buildings. It will leave the side open-ended, so to fix that you would need to add your own wall there. Well, this is fine just for demonstration purposes. And we might as well, for demonstration, show a Z-axis one as well, or an X or whatever it is. So here's what one on the other axis would look like. And for the Z-axis, you have to say the common X first, and then the two Z positions. So now what we're going to look at is NewBuild supports, as of the NewBuild of the portfolio, it now supports a whole load of different furniture functions that are used in Point Square and Spaceport Village. So these are the syntaxes for each command. You got a table, a chair, a bed, bedside locker or chest of drawers, shop shelves for both orientations, and then clothes racks for both orientations. Let's now fill these out and then distribute them randomly around the building. So the table supports setting a custom width. So you can make like a big dining table or just like a little end table. And the texture for the top and the legs. There's a chair. Direction is either front, left, right or back. We have a bed which takes in the arguments for position. Front, the texture for the headboard. Red, sure. And then the fabric at the end, like the bedspread at the end, not the actual duvet. Yellow, we'll have a McDonald's bed going on here. Bedside locker is the same syntax as the chair. We have the shop shelf. These are both the same thing, they just make them oriented on different axes because they're symmetrical either side. Texture to use for the shelf. TK button 34, why not? And the clothes rack is the exact same, it just doesn't take a texture. Let's have a look at all these various items. Here they are. This is turning into quite the strange building, isn't it? Got a tree, I picked really bad textures for them. There's a table, got a chair, the McDonald's bed, the little locker thing there. Disney button isn't a valid texture, and the clothes with all the different materials and types of clothes on it. There's a few more items to teach, and then I will end off this video. We'll probably do a few more videos where we'll look at actually making a building using this. We have the NB opening command. This is basically like in a building creator where if you try to add a door on the edge, it'll just create a hole in the wall. It won't actually add a door. Or if you just want an opening for whatever reason, maybe you want to put like an automatic door in it or something in your own hand code, you can set a position, set the width in feet, or 10, and then false for front and back, or true for left and right. This will automatically cut the wall if you place it on top of the wall, and it will use the currently selected trim texture for the architrave. So the last thing we will look at together will be custom floor signs. I added a function to add custom floor signs, basically for if you have like a big stairwell or something, or a lift shaft and you want to have floor signs. You click the position on these lift shaft walls here. Command couldn't be simpler. I'll just add a floor section after the lifts. You can just click anywhere on the shaft to get the position. You don't need to like add or subtract things to place it on the right wall. It won't fight regardless. And then set a direction. So it'll automatically load the right texture for each floor. It's a simple white text on a black background, and then that just makes a big floor numeral. There we go. This has been illustrating how to use some more advanced objects within NewBuild. In the next video of this, which could be the last, who knows, we look at using custom textures, integrating your own hand code elements, and actually making a building using this. Actually semi-serious building. So thanks for watching, and see you in that next video.